Okay, so today what we're going to learn how to do is how to pour plates. So I have an autoclave tray in front of me. In it, I have liquid LB, I have LB Agar, and then I have an empty beaker, which I have autoclaved, and I'll show you why I use that. So the first thing to do is to open up your plates. These are large tissue culture plates, and you're going to want to make sure that you do not get rid of your plastic. Okay, so be careful. Okay, so these are Falcon plates, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is just open this up, and I'm going to stack them and put that there. I have a flame going here to create an updraft in front of my workspace so that any bacteria in the air are not going to come down over where I worked. I've cleaned off my bench. I usually use 70% ethanol before I make plates. You need to make sure that the plate is right side up. You can see that there is a cap, and the cap is wider on top than it is on the bottom. And you're going to put your plates in, I generally do about stacks of 3 or 4. Hi. Alright, so just so you know, this can get a little bit screechy. So I've separated my plates into stacks of 3. I've got them in front of me. I've got my agar, so I got my plates to my left, my agar in front of me, and then I want to make sure that I have a little bit of space to my right. Before I start everything, in case you are using ampicillin or kanamycin and you are using a stock solution, it's probably frozen. So you want to make sure that you take the time to thaw it at room temperature. Do not microwave ampicillin or kanamycin or any antibiotic because it can break down in heat. So I'm going to pour my LB onto these plates, and I have to add my ampicillin. So the problem is that if I add my ampicillin to directly to really hot LB agar, then it will destroy the ampicillin. So you want to go, good rule is like till you can hold it and it's hot, but it's not super painful. And that'll tell you that it's ready. So I use 1,000 times amp, which means it's 1,000 times the concentration that I'm going to use. I have 300 milliliters of agar in front of me. That means I'm going to use 300 microliters of ampicillin to make a concentration of 100 microliters or 100 micrograms per mil. It's a pretty strong concentration and should kill off any bugs, but I'm using a pretty powerful plasmid, so it should have some nice resistance. Okay, so I'm going to grab a set of tips real quickly. Okay, so I open up my tips. I'm set at 300 with my pipette man. Okay. Oh shit, that's a P100. Okay, so I've got a P1000. I'm going to dial it down to 300. That'll read 030. Great, I've got my tips. All right, and I'm going to add that directly to the middle of my beaker. Okay, so then I'm going to take my LB and I'm going to swirl it. I don't want to introduce any bubbles, so I'm not going to shake it. I'm just going to make sure that it's in front of me and I'm spinning it around. I always autoclave a beaker along with my agar, and what that allows me to do is have a little bit of better control when I'm pouring. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer some of this into my beaker, and then I'm going to pour my plates. So I just pour, pour, pour. I'm basically filling about 2/3 of the plate. And then giving it a spin. And that'll cover the rest of the plate. I really like the beaker because it gives me a nice controlled pour, and this is why I wanted to make sure I had space to my right earlier. How was your day? I had an interesting one. And there we go. Looks like I was off by just a little bit, but... Alright, so some people at this point will tip the lid so that, like so. So that the moisture can escape. That never bothers me. I just leave the lid on. And I will actually just restack these guys. Or girls, I guess that's gender biased for bacteria or plates. How funny would it be if I wasn't recording? All right, great. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I'm going to stripe these plates. My color scheme is off. I usually use 2 colors to signify LB and amp, but they're usually not green and pink. Okay, so then I lay a piece of tape down. This is kind of tricky to do with gloves on. Sticky side up. Doing this is actually pretty important. Sometimes this tape will only stick to the bottom and top, and just make sure that it sticks to all the plates. So what can sometimes happen is one will be non-stick, and you'll go to carry it, and it'll fall out the side, and it will suck, and your life will be miserable. Cool. So I want to make sure that I now label my tape with my name, D10. The date's 2016. What's on the plate, and that's LB amp. And then I'll be ample. Sorry. No, that's it. That's usually all I put on the plate, and sometimes a message to somebody who I might care about, who might see this, like "don't touch" or "really, really don't touch" or "no touchy." Is one of my favorites. Okay, cool. And now I have a stack of plates, and that's about all you need to know about making plates.